My family are huge Stephen King fans. I've grown up seeing his books around the house, and the idea of horror content is just normal to me. Within the house, every single book Stephen King has ever released is proudly on display, with the exception of It. Hang on. Mom, why don't you have a copy of It?
It sucks!
Okay, duly noted. When I was a teenager, I asked my mother what the scariest King book is. Granted, everyone has a different tolerance of horror, but I was a teenager and I just wanted to know what was the scariest book in the house. I thought I would get a straight answer, but instead she told me about an incident where she was 3/4 of the way through a particular book, and couldn't bring herself to finish it. Knowing her and knowing that she rarely doesn't finish a book, this took me back. She explained that the writing and content was so engrossing that she genuinely became uncomfortable reading the situation and was too scared to turn the page. That idea stuck with me for many years. The idea of being too scared to turn the page. It's a fascinating idea, that a writer can get into your brain so well that they can make you feel fear even when sat alone in a room. I'd waited to have that experience myself, and by the time I turned 25, it still hadn't happened. And then I found my moment. Comics are my primary medium of entertainment. I like books. I've gotten into Stephen King, which, let's face it, was inevitable, although I feel like The Stand is going to take me a million years to finish. I love movies, I deeply miss going to the cinema, and I enjoy video games. I've been very slowly going through the latest Pokemon DLC in the last few days. But comics are the medium that I choose to make my name in, to dedicate my life studying and making a contribution to. So it was only natural that my quintessential horror moment came from a comic. Batman Dark Knight Dark City was released in 1990, and written by Peter Milligan with art by Kieran Dwyer. It spans across 3 issues, starting in Batman number 452 to 454. The story centers around a ritual carried out in 1765, known as the Ceremony of the Bat. A ritual intended to summon the Bat Daemon Barbatos. During the ritual, the occultists are attacked by a human bat creature, because they hesitated to kill the sacrifice. One of the occultists escaped, and in 1793 writes a confession explaining what they did. In the present day, the Riddler finds this confession and decides to recreate the ritual using Batman as the unwitting sacrifice. However, the sacrifice needs to go through 6 distinct acts. 1. Kissing the lips of a hanged man. 2. Bathing in human blood. 3. Dancing with the dead in a dense macabre. 4. Slaying a wild dog with a silver dagger. 5. Slitting the throat of an unbaptized child. And 6. Dancing a Sabbath dance in the front of the devil, represented by a horned goat. Throughout the story, the Riddler uses elaborate methods to fulfill each of these criteria. However, it's the circumstances surrounding number 5 that make me question turning the page. At the end of the 2nd issue, one of the babies Riddler has stolen from the hospital is presented to Batman, sat in a crib in the sewer below Gotham. However, Riddler has lodged a ping-pong ball deep inside the baby's throat. Riddler leaves Batman alone with the child, who is now struggling to breathe. As the issue comes to an end, Batman knows there is only one thing to do. He's too far away to get the baby to a hospital in time. The final image on the page shows Batman standing above the child, knife in hand, and the lone thought, "You know how to do it. Do it." The idea of Batman needing to slit a baby's throat. It fills me with a kind of dread that's hard to describe. The fact that I was reading this in trade meant that the act was only 1 page away. Did I want to turn that page and witness it? Would you turn that page? With the way in which comics work, especially in regards to time, the act won't happen until you've turned the page. Time does not progress unless turning the page. In essence, you are the one in Batman's position. Comics can use the very nature of their medium to amazing effect, but when it comes to horror, they can prolong a moment for however long the reader can stand, making the torture even more brutal for the reader.